Hello everyone, this is Andrew from Crown Academy of English. Today's lesson is about English idioms and expressions about feeling sad. So let's start. So there are 5 idioms and expressions that you will learn. The first one is to be down in the dumps. To be down in the dumps. And this means simply to be sad and upset about something. So you're very sad and upset and also very depressed. Okay, you're in a really low mood. Here are some examples. Why are you down in the dumps? What's wrong? So here we have the question. Why are you down in the dumps? Why are you so sad? Example 2. David seems down in the dumps today. Is he okay? David seems down in the dumps today. Is he okay? So this means, well, David seems to be sad and depressed today. Is he alright? Is he okay? And the third example, it is an affirmative statement. Mark is down in the dumps because he has failed his exams. So here is Mark, obviously very upset and sad. He's down in the dumps. Your heart sinks. Your heart sinks. And this means to suddenly feel very, very disappointed and discouraged about something. So it is a sudden change in feeling. Okay, perhaps you see something and you hear something, and suddenly you feel very disappointed. Example. My heart sank when Jane told me that she wants a divorce. So my heart sank when Jane told me that she wants a divorce. So this means that suddenly I felt very disappointed. Okay, so often when we say your heart sinks, often something is a bad surprise for us. Okay, it's a bad surprise. Jane's heart sank when she found out that she had lost her job. Jane's heart sank when she found out that she had lost her job. So she lost her job, and so obviously she was very, very disappointed. Notice here that with this expression we have possessive adjective. Your, well, this is your if it is the second person. And here we have my. So this is the first person possessive adjective. My heart sank. Here it is the third person, and the possessive is an apostrophe S after the person's name. Jane's. His heart sank when he received the invoice for $20,000. His heart sank when he received the invoice for $20,000. So he received the invoice for $20,000, and so he was very upset, very disappointed and discouraged. And because this is a man, then we use, and we are talking in the third person, then it is the third person singular masculine possessive adjective, his. Okay, if this was a girl, we would say her heart sank. Okay, your heart sinks. So why do we say sank here? What does sank mean? Well, the verb sink is irregular. It's an irregular verb, and the past form is sank, S-A-N-K. So that's the past simple. This is the past simple form. The past participle is also irregular, and it is sunk. S-U-N-K. Sunk. So remember, we use the past participle, for example, in the present perfect tense. Example. His heart has sunk. His heart has sunk. So the past participle in the present perfect. Okay? So very important. Do not say sinked. Sinked is wrong. It's a big mistake. To have a lump in one's throat. So can you guess the meaning of this? Well, this is a literal expression, in fact, and it describes the physical feeling, the physical tight feeling in one's throat because you are sad and emotional. So I'm sure you have already felt this yourself, but when you feel very, very sad and emotional, often before you cry, you feel your throat and your neck, it gets very tight, becomes very tight, and it hurts. So in English, we say, you have a lump in your throat. Okay, we call this a lump in your throat. So it's a real physical feeling, and it's often before you cry. So here are some examples. The film was very sad. I had a lump in my throat when the dog died. So there was a very sad part of the film when the dog died. And during that part of the film, I had a lump in my throat. I had a lump in my throat when she told me that she is ill. So here I received some bad news. Somebody tells me that she is ill. And so I feel a lump in my throat. Okay? Because I'm very sad. David often has a lump in his throat when he thinks about the past. David often has a lump in his throat when he thinks about the past. Okay, so he often feels sad and emotional when he thinks about the past. We can also say he is feeling nostalgic. He is feeling nostalgic. He's thinking perhaps about things that happened in his past. Okay? And again, there is a possessive adjective in this expression. So in the first person, singular, we would say lump in my throat. My throat. It's the same here. I, because we are talking in the first person, singular, and so we use the possessive adjective my, first person, singular. Here we are in the third person. We are talking about a man in the third person. So we use the third person singular possessive adjective. Lump in his throat. If this was Jane, a lady or a girl, we would say Jane often has a lump in her throat when she thinks about the past. Okay, because this is the personal pronoun, the subject personal pronoun. So it's masculine, he, when it is a man, and it is she, feminine, when it is a lady. And again, this is also the third person singular. Okay? To cry one's eyes out. So very simple. This means to cry a lot. So this is a figurative expression, obviously, and it means to cry so much that your eyes fall out. So obviously it's not a literal expression. It just means to cry a lot, to cry very much. I cried my eyes out at the funeral. So at the funeral I was very sad. I cried a lot. I cried my eyes out. Again, we have a possessive adjective here, which agrees with the subject, my eyes. Mark always cries his eyes out when he hears that song. So he hears a song which makes him sad, and he cries his eyes out. Mrs. Smith cried her eyes out when her cat died. So her cat died. Mrs. Smith is very sad. She was very sad, and she cried her eyes out. So notice we have different forms here. We have cried, I-E-D, and here we have cries, I-E-S. So what are these forms? What is the form here? Well, again, cry is irregular. It's an irregular verb. And the past form, the past simple form, is cried, I-E-D. It's not, okay? And also the past participle is the same. Cried, I-E-D. Cried, Y-E-D, that is wrong. Okay, that's a very big mistake in English. So be careful, do not write Y-E-D. And the present simple, because this is an example of the present simple here. And so it is I cry with a Y, you cry, he or she cries. So this is the important one. The third person singular, we change the Y to I and add ES. Change the Y to I and add ES. Okay? We don't say cries, C-R-Y-S. That would be wrong. Okay, so this is the important one to remember. So yes, so this is the present simple. We are describing a regular habit, an action. Always, Mark always cries his eyes out. So we use the present simple, not the present continuous here. Okay? To be very cut up about something. So cut up, this is the important part. To be cut up about something. And it means to be very sad and emotional about something. I think this is mainly used in Britain. This is mainly a British English expression. So an example would be, Mark was very cut up about his mother's illness. Okay, so again, obviously this is a figurative expression. We are not physically cut. Okay, but that is the image. It is just an image that we say if we are cut up about something, then we are hurt. We are hurt. We are sad and emotional. But we're not physically hurt. It's mentally, psychologically hurt. So Mark was very hurt, cut up about his mother's illness. He was very upset. He's very sad. And Jane is very cut up about her father's death. Okay, so obviously her father has died and she is very cut up about that. She's very sad and emotional. Okay, so this is a very good expression in English. Okay, so there we are. Those are the 5 expressions. I hope you enjoyed the video. Here are some other videos which I recommend you watch.